Hello and welcome. I'm Jess Campman's Guided by Equus, and this is your Horse Wisdom Insights for the week of June 14th. I'm here with Fancy, Baby Einie, and Coast. And this week feels just kind of like being able to come to the surface after a lot of really deep, kind of a deep dive, hard, going down, being able to come up and find our ability to look around and see things for what they are after being so deep. So it's almost a perspective shift, and at the same time being able to take a breath, as you come up and rise up to the surface, and just relax a little bit into what is all just kind of transpired or come about or happened or shifted. And the realization of a new perspective from this deep transformative work that potentially we've all kind of been or having to have surrendered to or found ourselves in. Maybe we didn't surrender to it. And interesting that just needing to stand up and, being able to find what it is that we really value for ourselves and stand up for ourselves with that. But stand up for ourselves almost feels like just standing in our truth with that, because it's not even really a standing up for ourselves. It's just standing there and being present with what is. Because when you're present with what is, there kind of comes about an acceptance of all that is part of that experience, in a way that doesn't take us into our heads. It's just this embodied appreciation of what we've come through, gone through, and where we're at now. And without even a need necessarily to know where it is that we're going. And I guess that kind of really feels like it's just coming back to that present moment, which is connected to that breath and being able to see the perspective and find a sense of. It's interesting because the word urgency and normality are both coming, and I'm like, no, it's neither one of those. And what really feels like it's being activated is like a connection from our sacral chakra to the root chakra, and that ability to ground into the present moment, which kind of this all makes sense. But that recognition of being able to just move about in the world, kind of like these guys. These three got moved here yesterday to this acreage that we have that's an abandoned acreage, and yet to me it's such a sacred place because there's all of the wildlife that kind of congregates here in the area, and just the old buildings and the ground, and that the horses have this ability to move around this property without any restriction and just being really grounded. And there's shade areas and there's grass areas and there's shelter and there's kind of everything that everyone as a horse might need, which actually feels tied to where we maybe find ourselves this week. It's that connection to an inner resource that we've recognized has been ours all along, but we just didn't really realize we had access to it or the capability of it, and that in itself feels very grounding. So just taking another deep breath, and it's interesting because Einie was part of the first part of this video, and I kind of thought she would return, but maybe this week it's not about that return. It's just about the recognition that there's nowhere else to be but here. So much love from myself and all of my Guided by Equus herd, including Einie and Coast and Fancy here. And looking forward to seeing where June brings us, because it feels like we're not quite done with this really deep dive experience that June is helping us progress through, I guess is the words that wants to come. So looking forward to seeing where next week brings all of us, and much love from myself and these guys here. Take care.